close enough.
All right, I'd like to call this meeting in order, and we'll do the pledge of allegiance. Look around.
Allegiance to the flags of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Get the door. Well, what we have on the agenda tonight is to meet with our insurance lady to see what we have and what we need to do, or we don't have any idea what kind of coverage we got or anything about it, so I'm just gonna let you take off.
Well, I'm kind of new to your account too, so Steve McGregor has always handled the fire department's policies, and he retired in March of 23. So he's still around and kind of mentoring all of us. So last year it renewed January 1st, and it's all been under the city of Monroe City in the past, and I understand that's all changing now. So we do need to get that rewritten into the correct names, and unfortunately the carrier won't just change the name on the policy. They have to have brand new application submission, everything. So so I'm working with Jackie. She's sent me a little bit of the information as far as timing and what is going on with that, but I guess I need more information off of you guys as well to know for sure. We can't put anything in that name until all the assets are changed over, so the vehicle titles and the building titles and all of that too.
Do you? I mean, you insure the building and everything?
We've got a policy right now in force that has currently this building, I believe, this brick one across
The brick one over there.
Yep. Well, we'll take that off.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the big storage building. Is there a training center or something?
Training trailer.
The training trailer. Yeah. We have 4 buildings. The training trailer, I want to say.
You have the substation. So you had the training trailer, the one across the street, and the substation. So we need to take the one across the street off.
Okay.
That 222, I think, is what you had it
I
as.
think it was at 300,000. And we just called it a storage shed. But so we have that. We have all the liability that goes along with the fire department as well. Management liability, which will cover your board. There's auto, so there's a fleet of fire trucks and tankers, and the command vehicle I know has been totaled out, so that one has been taken off the policy. So if you get that replaced, we just need the information off of it as far as to add it. There's a umbrella policy that gives an additional $2 million in liability coverage over your general liability, and then we also have an accident policy to cover all the volunteers. So it's there's a death benefit.
So are you going to go over what our liability? Well, I mean, are you going to go over if we total out a piece of a fire truck, what we can?
Yeah. I've got it all scheduled. Okay. Everything. I didn't know who all we were meeting with or anything.
And that's fine. No, that's fine.
Do you mind? Can I sit
No,
up
you
there?
can. Yeah. Right. Sorry.
I didn't know how much detail you wanted me to go into tonight, so.
Well, we need to know, don't we, guys? Well, we need to know what we got.
Yeah, basically, what we have, what,
and I do have a new application just to kind of, we can take everything from the previous policy and copy it, other than the other building that we know we're not on. So I do need some questions answered in order to fill that out, but I also just have like a summary, about the applications that we went through last year, and you added a drone, and then we added another gator, I think, like a military gator.
The new gator. We had a new gator.
We had that one, but then there was a military
one. No, it was a military gator, but it was given to the election department.
Okay.
It was loaned, right?
It was loaned to the.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which we have back now.
But we still have one military gator.
And we do have one military gator.
Yes.
We have 2 gators total.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's what I think I've got too. So right now, currently, this building, that we're in here, we have insured at $956,536.
This whole building?
This whole building.
Does that cover, what
How
all
much
does
was
that cover?
again?
Is
900?
that just the building or is that the contents of the building?
The contents, we have $135,075 worth of contents.
130,075.
135,075 for the
No,
contents.
for the contents.
Yeah.
No, I asked what the building, she said the building was like
956.
536, and then I said, okay, but what is the contents of the building?
Right, and what is another?
It is
135.
But it,
135.
but if the
135,000.
building burns,
Mm-hmm.
that's all we're gonna collect off of these trucks that are $500 million a piece?
We
No,
have
the trucks are
vehicles.
separate.
Trucks
That's
are
that's
different.
the structure.
That's just the structure.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought the contents, I thought you said the contents.
Contact is
Contents
not
would
the
be
fire.
like
Like
their-
his desk
yeah,
and,
Okay.
yeah.
anything that's not permanently
So they're in the
attached.
building.
I'm pretty
and
insurance
they're covered
dumb, so
on
just
that.
bear with
Sure.
me.
Another policy, yes, okay,
Yeah.
I'm getting it now.
Okay. We also cover earthquake on here and business income with extra expense for 24 months. So if the building does burn down, it'll pay actual loss sustained for you guys to go someplace else to operate. Covers the expenses there. Then we have building number 2 was at 135 East Summer Street 2. We have it $37,960 as an actual cash value. And that's where I was
Let me
thinking it
interrupt you
was.
for that. When were those policy issues?
These have been enforced for a long time.
Okay, so the number you're giving us, and everything, the fire truck goes up in the,
Sure.
just like my house. So is it covered, like 20% over and above?
This one does not. It would just be the replacement cost up to that limit.
Up to the,
Like on this building, the 956,000. The ones that are actual cash value, those are, paid out separately with depreciation and
So if the building
things like that,
burns,
so.
so if something happens to the building, we'll collect a maximum of $926,000.
56.
956,000, and those can
Plus
be,
the 35 for this other building, right beside us.
yes.
What is this other building? Is that the training trailer?
No, the training trailer we have at 20,000.
So what's the second building?
Brush two's at.
Well,
Across the
she
street.
says she has 4 buildings.
Yeah,
The highway DD is that.
that's
That's
our,
substation.
yeah, that's our
So
substation.
that one
Leave
is 236, 250 is the limit on there.
Wait a
with-
minute, wait a minute before you go any further there. That substation is $236,000? Is that what you said?
That's what it's covered at right now, yeah.
That's okay, isn't it?
And that's also on
Yeah,
a
I mean,
replacement
it's
cost.
basically just
what
a
could
Morton
you-
building.
What could you build a substation for?
We built it cost us $150,000 to build.
Yeah, because it's basically a Morton building with
Yeah.
walls and stuff put in.
Fine.
Okay, sorry.
You're fine. And then we have 20,000 on the trailer, which was just added last year. And that was the amount,
So,
like
look,
actual cash value on that.
I hate to back you up, but,
Sure.
so you said you had 135 East Summer, which is the fire station,
Mm-hmm.
and then you had 135 East Summer, which is the fire station. So are they considering the new part a building and the old part a building?
Yes.
We have a building
So they're-
1 and a
they're-
building 2.
It's all one building.
But which one's 222 East Summer that you said was that other building?
That is,
That's separate?
yes, that's the one that we had 300,000 on.
Okay,
I didn't
okay.
include it
And
in
that's
this
where
because
brush
you'd
two
already.
is, right?
That's where brush two's
Okay,
at.
Okay.
so that one we'll wanna take.
Yeah,
off.
that will
Yeah.
take off. So this
Alright.
other one is the other
Okay.
part of this, okay.
While we're right here, why are we insuring that training trailer? I'm asking.
Yeah.
I'm asking because,
That was something that was added last year when we came up.
and that's insured for 35,000.
20.
20,000.
20,000.
Which wouldn't replace,
Is there anything
Well,
other
the one
than?
It'd be plenty to replace
it.
no, it wouldn't.
Wouldn't
I'm
touch
just
it.
talking
we
out
can take
loud. I
that.
mean,
If we could take that one off, it wouldn't.
Do we use it?
yeah, they use
You
it.
use it.
Okay, I mean, I don't know.
We do,
There's nothing other than training stuff.
yeah.
I'm just
Science
trying to,
based stuff in it and this and that.
Are these
Yeah.
two
So
buildings truly two buildings, or are they
it's the same
connected?
address.
Yeah, but are they two complete?
That
like, are
part
there
was
four-
there, and then this part was added.
Okay, but is it like complete, like?
You can walk clear through it,
You can
yeah.
walk clear through it.
Okay.
They're all connected, yes.
Okay.
It's one.
So is it cheaper to address it as one structure at
I guess-
102 or 101.1 million
What's a fire?
at the 956 and the 235?
Well, the building two, we have at 37,960.
Yeah, but that's, yeah, okay.
I can do new replacement cost estimators on them.
That would be good.
That would be, yeah.
when,
Yeah,
you know,
because, I
but
mean-
I'll need like
Because
square
the
footage.
Because
You know,
if
this was
that
20
catches
years-
fire, you're gonna damage
20-some years
this
ago,
too.
and we got close, that's why I brought that one thing, I've got on my home, if it goes down, let's say it's $200,000, but if I can't build it, I got like a 20%
Yeah.
rider.
Yeah, and that's the way most homeowners are written. Business is a little bit different than that. They do factor in an inflation guard, so each year they're bumped up. That's why they're like 536.
I think
You know,
that's the best way for us to
It's
find out.
got
what
an
we're
inflation
actually
guard built
insured
in, so
enough.
every year it'll increase
Right.
a little bit, but
So
it's
really,
based off of how it
we
was
would be
originally.
advantageous to get a new appraisal of everything.
It really would. And an appraisal, as far as like having an appraising company come in, that's different because they're gonna give you market value. We have software systems that do actual replacement costs, what it's gonna cost to rebuild from the ground up.
Right.
So we can do that. I will need, specifics on construction type this is and square footage and, roof type, like all of those things, so. Somebody can work with me to get that information.
So you will need that information. Do you bring people in to get that information, or we'll have to provide that information?
If you've got like any kind of appraisal on it from the past, I can usually get it from that.
But you
I can
definitely
come
need
out and
it.
measure square footage and those
Should have
sorts
the
of
site
things,
plans
so,
on this. I mean, it wasn't built, what, this have been 7, 8
Should be
10
some
years?
part of them all.
or less?
Well, but it's two different buildings, so
Right.
Yeah.
it'd be easier just to measure the square footage.
Start over.
footage. And if it's a true walk through one building, we should have it insured at that. I don't know why it's
Well,
separated.
because
Why
that
it
building
was.
was there and then this building was added.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
It's
I mean,
two
I think,
separate entities.
Mhm.
so we know you're gonna do a
Cost calculation on
cost
it.
calculation, okay.
We can
And
redo
let's
those.
go back to the trailer. I just threw that out there. I mean, that's maybe a little bit of money to save. I don't know.
No,
What's that 20,000 costing us?
Right now,
So what's it gonna cost us if we don't have it?
Well, that's,
Another free trailer.
your total property premium,
Yeah, and they built
as
all
it's
of
written,
that
is
themselves.
$6,023 a year.
On that one trailer?
No,
no, that's a total for the year on everything.
And it doesn't break it down per
It's not
Well-
thing on
itemized.
there. There's a 4% inflation guard on it currently, so whatever it was originally written at, year after year, it's increased 4% is where those dollar amounts are coming from. It's not giving me a
What do you all
premium
think?
per building. I can get
I'd
that.
say if it goes to shit, it goes up in smoke, we can find
There's
a
your
trailer.
Or if it blows over, we'll do something with it. You okay with that, Rich?
Yeah.
Let's just take her off then.
Yeah, so this is a training structure, and it's written on actual cash values, so you're gonna get 80% after depreciation
Well, we
is
just talked
taken.
about it. I mean, you wanna take a vote on that?
We'll need to if you're wanting to get that off your thing.
Well, I was just thinking, I mean, you say we're only gonna get 80%, well, that trailer's probably, what, 1980 trailer, so you're gonna give us cash value off a 1980 trailer, which is about $1,000 now.
I think it was given to us,
Well, that's besides the point, but, I'm just saying, you're gonna get
So-
cash value of that, you're spending a lot of money for
What's
something
it
you're gonna get
actually
$1,000
costing
back
us
for.
money wise to have that type of insurance on?
Like I said, this doesn't break it down per building, but I can get that for you.
I just make a motion to take it off.
I'll
I'll
say
Third.
Show me a trailer.
fourth.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Alright, Rick's name that.
Yeah, we can find another trailer somewhere.
Yeah. So
I think we all know.
that
somebody.
eliminates, we've got the
Oh, yeah.
buildings
I mean,
eliminated.
Leisure
We just
sells
need
them all the
to,
time for 20.
you've got one more building on over there.
$2,500.
What's that address over there?
222 East Summer, I believe.
222 Summer Street is the one that we had at 300,000.
And you deleted that.
That
Is
one.
that,
Cause that will stay with the
So
city.
that's
We haven't
six-
deleted anything yet. I just know
Okay.
I
Jackie
know,
said
yeah.
that was
Yeah.
staying
Okay.
with the
Right.
city.
so the
So-
$6,000 that you told me just a minute ago, it's still got this on it
It does,
and
yeah.
the training trailer.
So we need to make a
But-
motion to
But
take
when
that
you,
off.
when you're, oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Do we need to make a motion to take that off?
Take what off?
To
building?
take the,
Bill.
If that
Well-
is gonna stay deeded in the city of Monroe City, this
Yes.
is all gonna be stuff that's gonna be in the
That's
Monroe
what,
area.
That's their problem.
that's what I'm getting ready to say. When everything's signed over
Mhm.
we
to
don't have that.
That's
us,
theirs.
when it says Monroe City Rural Fire Protection, or Rural Fire Association,
Mhm.
that building should not be on it. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah,
It's
so
not our
then,
building.
So then, yeah, we
yeah,
don't
so
have to
then
make a
they'll
motion.
need to insure it if they want it
No,
insured.
we don't make, no, we don't, do we need to make a motion? No, we don't need to make a motion.
No, cause it's not our property.
It's not our property.
Just to make sure that they know
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
take it off.
That
So,
piece
so when
of-
they come up with the
I won't be
calculation,
quoting it as your all's district. Now, as far as what they do with it, I
Yeah,
mean,
that's all
once
that.
these are gone, we just cancel the policy, so it's gonna cancel the coverage.
Yeah,
But I'm gonna have the city request the cancellation and,
sure,
cause right now technically you
Sure,
guys are
yeah.
not, you know,
We
you're
don't
not named
own,
insured.
we don't own the policy.
Right.
well, yeah, and when it, you're right, cause when it
Yeah.
comes,
Yeah.
when we sign, it won't even be on there. When-
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
then
it
they
means
can
just like
decide
writing
what
a
they
brand new
wanna do.
policy.
Yeah, exactly. And the contents coverage is written on a blanket, so it would cover contents if they're here, if they're at the substation or. you
So
know.
that 135 is contents for all of our facilities?
Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
I'm confused with the contents.
You're,
Contents is just like if there's tables and chairs and.
exactly.
computers and,
Okay.
you
it's
know,
like,
Computer.
it's like renter's insurance.
And what is that?
The limit, we have.
135 something.
135,075.
075, correct.
Sorry, numbers are kind of my thing. So.
35,000.
I can make a penny bleed.
Good.
Is that enough?
I mean, because that would include our SCBA's and all of that stuff, right? Hoses and everything?
It's got nothing to do with the truck.
No, if
I know.
anything's like on the truck, that.
No, but I mean, like our
Yeah.
SCBA's, we store them here, right? And those types of
Some
things.
upstairs
Yeah,
and
it's
all the.
equipment.
You know, that's,
There's portable equipment, we'll get to it here in a little
okay,
bit.
so that could be
No,
separate.
Well, wait a minute,
There's an air compressor,
Turn-
a compressor.
turn that gear, there's,
Yeah.
Yeah, but she
7,
said there's portable equipment, which is,
In addition to,
In
anything that's
addition.
kind of
Would
out
it-
and about, moving
It can
around.
be picked up and moved.
Right.
well, yeah, but that's,
Or taken with you on a
So-
call. So if it's something you're gonna take
Okay.
to a
Business,
call,
personal property is usually like stuff that you would find in an
tables and
office
chairs,
setting.
computer, okay,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
but like, we have like they were saying, we have an air compressor that's used that's stationary and does not move,
Mhm.
that basically, I won't say it makes, but it generates the breathing air for these guys on their SCBA. That machine is a permanent structure. It's not gonna leave here ever.
Okay,
So is
That
that
is-
135,000 supposed to cover that too?
it could, or we could schedule it out on your, equipment.
Rider on it.
You already have some stuff that's scheduled out, so it's something
How do
that
we know
could
what
add
that
to
stuff
it.
is? I mean,
Yeah.
Is there a list?
Yeah, I've got
Okay.
it, yeah, I'll get there.
Just shut up, Lon. Let's.
Yeah, I guess we
go.
just
How
need to
about
shut
that?
up and listen. We keep asking questions.
Quit asking
You're
questions.
fine. So yeah, that amount is more for, computers,
Tables and chairs and computers.
chairs, like, TVs, and
Gotcha.
like anything that is in here.
Recliners.
Recliners, that would be replaced. Let's see here if I can get to that. So we have portable equipment. The limit currently is 30,000 on that. So that would be,
the portable equipment?
Is 30,000.
That's not enough.
30,000, that's not enough.
Mm-mm.
That ain't near enough.
now again, it's not gonna be anything that like is attached to your trucks.
Right, because that's
or anything
considered
that-
under the auto.
Yeah.
But this is gonna be our SCBA's and all the stuff that we pick up and load up, and our turnout gear, all of that stuff, correct?
But my question is, I mean, the SCBA
There's $200,000 worth of stuff sitting out there.
How do you figure that? Because technically, some of them are on the trucks
Some of them are, yeah.
and some of them aren't, you know?
Well, whatsoever laying on the ground, whatever.
Well, that's the
So,
question, is it covered if it's on the truck, under the truck policy?
or is
Yes.
it covered
It's
under the,
permanently attached, so the way the fire trucks and things are written is, it's an agreed value. So anything, you buy a standard fire truck and then anything you're adding to that needs to be included in that value, because it goes with that truck.
Anything on that truck is.
so each truck,
in that
okay.
fund.
Yeah.
Okay, so there you go.
So
So,
kind of like the command vehicle, it's not just like going and buying an Expedition, it's got all the equipment and everything added to
But
it.
the,
So you
okay.
don't insure it like
Yeah.
a normal Expedition.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah.
All right, moving forward.
well, wait a minute, that loose equipment, did we decide to move that, raise that up?
Well,
Should.
Because the turnout gear and the
Can we
generator
raise
we
that
have
up?
out there and the,
Yeah.
You got two,
Okay.
two, car wash machines, you got
Yeah.
an air compressor and.
Do the car wash machines go out of here though?
You can move them
No.
out.
No, but I mean, do they go on a fire call with
No.
us? So they would be
No.
part of the contents of the
Contents
building,
of the
correct?
yeah,
Right.
right.
right,
I'm just thinking there's $30,000 worth of turnout gear. out
On the
there.
truck.
No. on the
no,
pole.
hanging in lockers right outside that door.
Yeah, but if everything on the truck is covered.
Right.
Like the ladders and,
Everything attached.
And the hoses and- yeah.
Rich,
Yeah.
you would have to increase for the extrication, cause you just bought $50 worth of extrication.
But that's on.
But that's on the truck, so
That's
that
on the
would be
truck,
increased
so
with the
it
value of the truck.
Right,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but we need to do that too.
So do we need to tell her now whether we're gonna increase that
Isn't
or?
that kind of confusing? Why don't they tailor that a little bit better?
it's usually easier if you write it on a blanket. We can absolutely do a schedule if
Right.
you want to.
Yeah,
I would
'cause
think
that seems
would be
very
more
confusing.
understandable for everybody.
The only
Yeah.
difference is in the event of a claim, if something isn't scheduled, it's not covered. Where if you do a blanket, it's covered.
Right.
So, I mean.
So what are we
for the
on
most
now?
part, if it's considered mobile equipment,
So that's
You
where,
know.
that's where you come in to help us figure
Mhm.
everything out.
I would, most clients keep like an Excel spreadsheet of what you have just to get a value, get, a number. And then they do it on a blanket with that number. And then you update your spreadsheet as you get rid of stuff, get new stuff.
Right.
And that way each year, or, if you end up buying $100,000 worth of something and you've got, $50,000 on here and you know that you just did this, you need to increase that, obviously.
Yeah.
But, for the most part, people usually try to keep that on the blanket just so that there's a little flexibility. Oh, you forgot to tell me to add it and
I know
that
when
kinda
we went
thing,
through,
so.
when we went to this company at the very beginning, we had to inventory everything that we had.
Mhm.
And then they looked it up and said, this is what this is worth, this is what this, and this is where they came up with the dollar
Yeah.
value.
Yeah.
Are we still with VFIS?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And that
Right.
was prior to my time.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't find anything in there other than
No,
just a
that's
blanket
been,
and an
no,
amount.
that's been, shit, that's been 30 years
But it's
ago,
always a good idea to do that, because if this building burns down, you're gonna have to know,
what it is.
what all
Do
contents
we have it
were.
updated?
And we're getting ready, that's
Okay.
what Cam's gonna work on, is the
Okay,
updated inventory of the building.
okay.
So we need to get that to her.
Yeah.
Yep. I know, I'm trying to think,
Decide if we need to up.
South Missouri had VFIA, yes, and they lost a building. And the thing about it is, I mean, I don't get anything for saying this, but there's just no questions. When it comes to the fire department, here's what it is, they write a check and that's it. You do what you want to with it. That's what they did.
And fire departments is all y'all specialize in, basically, right?
We write a lot of different governmental entities and not-for-profits, and,
Okay.
we do everything, but.
And they offer
yeah,
training programs
we have
and
quite a-
videotapes, and
Okay.
I guess you still do, but, okay.
As far as like training and risk assessment and all that. Mhm. So yeah, I mean, I would start kind of maybe from scratch, and if you can get some lists going and just make sure that you've got enough coverage, that's always a good idea.
You tell us
to-
what you want us to do.
I mean, if you're telling me 30,000 is not gonna touch it, then you need to probably produce some sort of.
If I'm
list
understanding that if I'm understanding it right, where with this turning gear that's hanging up out here, there's generators sitting on the floor, and
Mhm.
if that's covered under 35,000, we are not covered in it.
Okay.
So,
And all of that stuff, I would just get a list, get the value, and then just keep it on a
Okay.
blanket.
I mean,
Like
honestly,
said.
I think it'd be a good idea, since we are starting fresh as us,
Start.
to
Right.
get an inventory. I mean, a very
Yeah.
thorough inventory, top to bottom, every computer, chair, the
Yeah.
whole 9 yards.
yeah.
Because part of that's gonna be under your contents of the building, part's gonna be on your equipment and stuff, and then like you said, the rest is gonna be
Yeah.
this portable stuff.
And if you wanna just come up with a list, we can go to the underwriters and decide, okay, should this be part of the equipment
That would be
floater,
great.
or
Yeah.
should it be business
Yeah.
personal
And we can put a
property?
column that
And-
this is what it's used for, or this is how it's
Yeah.
used, and that way we
Right.
can, okay,
So I think for now, as long as we got the buildings and the trucks covered,
Rich, you're gonna have your guys then do that?
Yeah, Cam's working on
Okay.
it, yes.
Okay.
And he know, I guess just make
So
sure he
he's gonna
knows
do
it's
the
a
building
complete.
and then,
to help Cam do it.
Yeah, because it's gonna be a
yeah,
large
it's gonna be a
task,
lot. You're gonna have to go,
Picking a crew to get, yeah.
then you're gonna have to go through,
cause you got that substation too.
You'll go ahead and measure the dimensions of the building and everything for us, and,
Yeah,
we can
okay,
do that.
yeah, they'll do that. Let them
Okay.
know.
Um, But as far as like construction, if you've got the original, footprints or something, just, if it's frame built, or if the walls are,
They did on
steel,
that one
or,
over there, probably.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see what the city's got.
Okay. On both sides of it, cause, obviously it doesn't cost as much to replace frame as it does steel and that sort of thing, but, I mean, and
Actually,
again,
this wall is a firewall, actually, cause it's all brick, other than a hole through it.
okay.
Mhm.
But if you wanted, if you think about if the whole thing burnt down, would you want the whole thing fire resistive to rebuild it? So that would take a little bit more than building a frame,
Right.
yeah, cause this is all,
stick building.
no, this is metal.
Mhm.
The new stuff's all metal.
Okay.
It was like a big Morton building addition
Uh-huh.
onto a concrete building over here.
Okay.
Brick and concrete building.
So what do we got? Where are you going now?
We can look at autos. We've got the fleet. These are all on agreed values, so
What's agreed, what do you mean by agreed
By
by
values?
agreed values, so for instance, the command vehicle that was just totaled out was on an agreed value of 30,000. It was a 2008, I believe. It's still on here, but we're gonna
Right,
take that out because it's been totaled, but, so basically, because in your line, things are so customized, so if you
Right.
buy a fire truck and then add $100,000 worth of stuff to it, we just need to make sure, because if it's
Right.
permanently attached equipment, your hoses and ladders, I know come off, but some of them do. All of that needs to go into that, where if it's a total loss, you're gonna get enough to be able to replace a fire truck. And
So it's kind of the amount of your base plus whatever equipment that you, and value that you put on it, that is your agreed value?
Yeah.
Okay,
So it's whatever you guys agree at the time of, a total loss, what you would want to get out of it.
And the truck is, like the trucks would be based on the year it is and based on their value of that year?
Yeah,
Or is it based on what we have it insured for?
what you have it insured for, really.
Okay.
I mean, I would go
It's a
kind
replacement
of
cost,
more
basically.
towards what it's gonna
Okay,
take to
Right.
replace it and get you back
Okay.
in business, so. So we have a 2006 Spartan, it says pumper, LDH, I don't know what LDH
Engine
stands for.
one.
Okay,
it's engine one.
that's one, engine
Um,
one, okay?
and that one we have at 260,000.
I've never replaced that,
They won't touch it.
no, not indeed.
Okay. So again, just kind of do an inventory, get me values and stuff.
So can you send
engine-
me a copy of that, so that way we can go from that too?
Engine,
Yep,
engine
okay.
one, you said what, 260? Alright,
260, we have a 2003 Spartan pumper is 322.
What's it, engine, which one is it, what's its vehicle number?
that's rescue one.
Rescue one, okay.
We have a 91 Chevy tanker at 175,000.
That's tanker 9.
Tanker nine,
that might be about right. It's not a replacement, you can't replace it for that.
you can't replace it for that, but
Be close.
be a hell of a good start on
We
a
have a
tanker.
73 Chevy pumper at 25,000.
That's right.
What's that called? What's that one called, Rich?
Right on that one.
That is, or that's FD3.
FD3.
Yeah.
Is that,
Okay.
is that
I
right?
wish we could sell it for that.
Yeah. Wanna buy a fire truck?
No. I do not.
She didn't even think about it.
F-
Look good out in front of your
FD3
house there. Oh,
was
yard.
25,000. Alright, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. There's an 86 Chevy, it says brush vehicle, and actually that
Brush.
one doesn't have a value on it, just actual cash value.
That'd be brush too.
Brush
So, but there is, like, if they roll that thing, there's some liability insurance on it.
Oh, yeah, liability follows them all. Uh-huh.
Okay.
And there's some on here that are just
So
liability
a
too.
brush
but-
truck's what, 125?
Yeah, it's like,
That's priceless.
To you it is.
Yeah, that little truck's priceless. Yeah.
it's a good old truck.
It is a good old truck.
Old Dillon
Yeah.
truck.
I'll tell you what, it outdid that Ford many a day.
Oh, I run circles around that Ford.
Sure did.
Is that the 2014 Ford brush? We have 74,950 on that one.
That ain't gonna touch
And that's
that
a,
truck.
so that's a 2014 Ford brush truck?
Mm-hmm.
What's your number on it? For that
It'd
one?
be brush one.
Brush one, okay.
Brush one.
And then we have a 2018 International pumper,
That's tanker one.
311,117.
That's about what you paid for it when you bought it, but that's been years ago.
We have a copy of the sheet here,
Yeah.
because she's gonna give us copies of everything, right?
Yeah, I can leave this with you guys too. I just kind of, this is the actual policy itself that's 250 some pages. I just pulled out like the
Right.
Right.
schedules and everything that would be
It'd be
pertinent.
good to go over that.
Right.
Yes.
There's a lot of these things.
And then we have a
Pretty
22
low.
Gator.
22 Gator, okay,
Mhm.
that's Gator one,
Okay.
be the new one.
And then
Do you have anything on it, value?
those are just settled on actual cash value.
Okay.
So
So the contents of the vehicle settled a different way?
no, again, like if you have something like the command vehicle was totaled, it is an agreed value
Okay.
of this
I
to
know what you're
replace
saying.
everything that goes with it.
Okay.
So,
Make sure I understand all
and I
this.
believe in that paperwork it said like to turn it over to them when it was totaled, you left anything that was permanently attached,
Yes.
and then like any kind of radios or anything, you know.
Well,
like
we actually
the-
took the light bar off, which we didn't get that policy, or we didn't get that until afterwards, so we
Okay.
put the light bar back. So that's all good.
Sure.
Put the old light bar back on?
Yeah, we put the light bar back,
We
so
could've
it's all
gone there and
good.
put it-
And they
Yeah,
come got
got
I was gonna say they picked it
Yeah,
up.
they picked it
and-
up.
Okay. Cause we haven't deleted anything. We haven't made any changes to anything on the policies, so. You do have $1 million liability, for your autos. And then you also have, 50,000 for garage keepers. We had talked about this last year, where I think you maybe, like, very rarely, occasionally would have to borrow like a truck or a boat sometimes.
Oh, that's, yeah,
of other
you guys
people's,
have, you
so-
have that right, or like, let's say we go to the lake or something like that, we have a boat that's sinking or whatever. We can actually borrow a boat, or if we went to the marina and had to borrow a boat to get to where we was rescuing somebody, we could actually do that and they would cover that boat
Yeah,
while we
for
had
up
it.
to 50,000. So it's just called
Good.
We'll
garage
just
keepers.
borrow a cheaper boat.
That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
So that is on there. You also have hired and non-owned auto up to the $1 million. So if anybody's going, you know, for training and you're driving your own personal vehicle or in an accident, it would pay in excess to your own personal auto policy. If, you know, the fire department were to bring or to be pulled into a lawsuit or anything like that. That's always a good coverage to have, and it's very inexpensive, but if anybody finds out I'm driving to Sam's for Booster Club, they could sue Booster Club, you know, like all of that
Yeah.
stuff. So you just want to make sure that anybody that works for a company that's regularly taking vehicles, you definitely want that hired and non-owned coverage on there. And then you have $1,000 deductible for comp and collision. And it looks like we've got 1, 2, 4, We don't have, we just have liability only on the 86 Chevy brush truck. And because like all the others are full coverage. So I don't know if there was a reason you didn't
No,
want that, or if you still want full
On
coverage
brush,
on.
you had something, but you said something about replacement value. But if it's liability, that ain't.
Yeah, we wouldn't need it if it's
Yeah.
just liability.
But on the brush
only.
truck, she didn't have an amount in there. It was a cash. It
Yeah,
was
that
a.
was the old military brush truck.
yeah.
Okay.
86. Let's see. No, we talked about that. Incidental garage or garage keepers. It's a 250 comp and 500 collision deductible. If you're using somebody's boat or anything like that, there is a little bit of a deductible if anything happens. That mobile equipment, we'll kind of start from fresh on that. The general liability is $1 million limit with a $3 billion aggregate limit, so you could have 3 claims up to $1 million. And then the management liability, which again is just kind of the operational side of things, so your board members, any managing employees, which do you guys have employees?
Well, we will
technically,
now.
or- Okay.
I mean, they're all part-time, but
Okay.
yeah.
So that's $1 million and then $3 million aggregate as well for wrongful acts of your board. You definitely want that.
Mhm.
And then along with that comes cyber liability, which is definitely something that's needed
So
more
do
and
we
more.
Do we need that other insurance that we have then from old,
Old Republic.
mhm.
That's a I don't know if that's an E&O or not. I'll check on that. We don't have any bonding with you though.
You do not.
Okay.
No, that's why we got that then, I think.
Yeah.
And we can do
Yeah.
bonding, and they can do bonding, or we can take it anywhere else. I know we used to have you bonded with the city,
Mhm.
so
I
shouldn't
think it was
be an
like up
issue
to
of-
200,000 or
Yeah, I was
something.
gonna say, I just need the amount that
Yeah.
you need to do
Yeah.
that.
So what amount do I need? I mean,
However
how do you
much
base that?
Based off of assets, like how much money you have access to. So.
Okay.
Not much. We're 400,000 short.
Yeah, that's just something that whatever
Okay.
you're handling, I would cover fully for sure. And then you do have the $2 million umbrella. So all those policies, the underlying policies that have $1 million. So an auto, you're driving like a fire truck down the highway, hit somebody head on. You have the $1 million on the auto, and then you have a $2 million umbrella. The good thing about in your field, you also are protected by sovereign immunity.
Right.
But
Yeah.
we still really
There's still a
encourage
hole there.
those umbrellas for that. And, kind of like the hired and unowned, if you guys are driving, to Quincy, Missouri, sovereign immunity doesn't apply if you're in Illinois or Iowa or,
Right.
any other state. So, so you still, those umbrellas could come in handy if you're ever out of state for anything, for training or anything like that. But that's, and just the package policy. Then there was also an accident policy that they carried for volunteers. And it's basically a supplemental insurance. Hopefully your volunteers have health insurance, but it does provide benefits if they're injured or in the event someone were to die. Acting firefighter, it doesn't cover off the job. I know it's volunteer, but it doesn't cover off the job sorts of injuries. But if someone were to die, in a house fire or something, it's a $100,000 benefit.
How much?
$100,000 death benefit. There's benefits for spouse, for education of their children. Like it's kind of a schedule of
There's a
different
million.
things that
There's-
they'll pay for.
It's either $1 million or $3 million that you can apply for through the state. They have money for that. So.
Okay.
But there's specific rules to follow to get it.
Sure. And that's, I mean, it's just, I can leave this too, it just kind of gives you a schedule of, you know, what each type of thing would pay out.
Okay.
But that's something that,
I think my
you know,
question is if one of these folks get injured on the job and it's let's say it's a workman's comp claim, it's hard to tell what they're gonna get, you know. I'm gonna use me for example. I got $14 a week is what I got.
because
And you can't live on that because there's no base pay.
Yeah.
So is there some kind of policy that we can buy that gives them,
No, it really work comp is for,
no, not work comp, some kind of
oh, okay.
some kind of a policy that would, so if they do get hurt on the job, it pays them X many dollars
Like
a
a
week.
disability
A disability.
policy, absolutely.
So we could get them a short-term disability policy?
Short-term or long-term. Short-term on firefighters and first responders is pretty hard. Most of them are long-term, so if
Because
it's something where you're out more than like 6 months
Right.
permanently.
But would it kick in
permanent
before that
disability.
6 months?
Most of the time, the elimination periods are 180 days.
That's what I thought,
on
yeah.
those.
So they wouldn't be able, so if they were just out for a few weeks, they wouldn't have any benefit.
It's, if I could get it, it's gonna be really expensive if you
Okay.
wanted more of the short term, like the 13-week kind of
Right.
coverage. Like I said, most of them, if they're covering first responders, it's gonna be from
After
more
the
of a-
6 month period.
more of a permanent solution until they get on full Social Security retirement, or disability.
It wouldn't hurt to check on it. I mean, it costs.
I know the
anything to
city of
check.
Hannibal has, a long-term disability policy on there.
But what do they do
Police
for the
and fire.
first 6 months?
You know,
Okay.
A lot of them, you know.
So it's not covered, it
Yeah,
won't
I
start.
mean, in their
won't start
case,
till 6
they're,
months.
in their case, they're
Yeah.
actual employees, so a lot of times they have vacation and stuff like that built
Yeah.
up, but
But I
I
think
know
there's,
it's a little different.
not to tell you what to do, you might, I think there's policies out there for that, for volunteer fire department.
There is, yeah. I'm saying though, if you want something with like a more shorter like elimination period or waiting period before the benefit would kick in, it gets pretty pricey.
I just think they ought to have something that says, hey, if you're injured, you're gonna have to wait 2 weeks and then you can collect X many dollars a week for
Yeah.
however
Yeah.
long.
And I can definitely look into it for you for
I don't know what you all think,
the
but
shorter,
Yeah, I say look into it.
shorter timeframe.
Would be,
But do we have to have work comp?
If you have employees, you do.
We have
need
to have work comp.
Yes.
we have to work out.
Mhm.
but that's where it would go to first, and, you know, the
Mhm.
workman comp claim would pay for it and then,
But on the work comp side, if you're a volunteer and you've made $75, they're gonna base it off of making $75.
$14 a week.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And well, if you were able to find a policy, would they cover while you were
$14 a
on
week,
work
try to
comp?
live on that.
A lot of them don't,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the
But
problem.
we don't have a choice, we have to have work comp.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. And-
Yeah. They may pay in conjunction with work comp, but they're gonna put work comp primary
Mm-hmm.
and deduct that from
Right.
whatever your short-term disability
Right.
benefit would be.
So if we give them a $250 benefit a week, they're gonna pay them $236.
If they're getting a work comp benefit as
Right.
well.
And the reason I say that, guys, we rolled a brush truck, and a guy ended up with a broken neck, and he was messed up
Paralyzed.
the rest of his life.
Yeah.
And we couldn't even get the city to pay the utility bills, so.
Again, I do have some markets that will consider first responders. It's pretty hard to get
Sure.
them to offer. But I
Well,
can see.
we'll
what
check
we
and
have.
see, and
Mhm.
if we can't, we can't, but
Yeah.
we'll check and
Right.
see.
And then,
Something we look at least.
how many employees are you gonna have?
What have we got, 17 firemen? And you makes 18? And then
Like paid salary or paid?
for volunteers, they get paid per call.
Paid per
Okay.
call.
Paid on call.
Okay, so 18, is that what you said? Okay, so 18.
Well, some of them have.
Now, am I an employee or am I a contractor?
Are you given a W-2
No.
from,
1099?
to be a contractor then?
Contractor.
And some of them are monthly. I mean, some of them draw monthly pay.
Mhm.
I don't know if that matters or not.
then they would be more of a part-time employee. I mean, are they getting a W-2?
No, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, they all do.
Yeah,
They all
anybody,
All of them are getting W-2s.
yeah. Anybody W-2 would be considered a part-time employee, even though they
Okay,
Doesn't matter
volunteer
how much
with
you
it.
make.
but just see what you can do.
Sure. Jackie, are you the only one, 1099?
mm-hmm. But do I need to be the other?
Let me get an opinion on that. I don't know.
Okay, because some of the things I read say I probably should be an employee because I'm under control of the board. So I'm not actually,
That's what I think.
You
If
know.
you're 1099, like the E&O would not cover.
right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm wondering.
Let me ask on that. Okay. So work comp is something that they just had under the city as well. So that's gonna have to be a new policy,
Mm-hmm.
that you,
And I gave you the information. You got that, didn't you, on the salaries and stuff?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Now that you say that, I think you did send me the number of,
It was late, but yes.
Yeah. so then I guess the next steps would be kind of for you guys to do your inventories and values. I can work on the replacement cost estimators for the buildings. And then,
When was the last time that policy was visited?
it renews January 1st of every year.
Taylor.
And what did it cost?
The package was 18,218.
So the numbers you are giving us now,
Mhm.
they were visited this past year.
Yeah, we met with
Yes.
Rich and Steve and I.
And they're really way out of whack.
Mm-hmm.
Just when.
Now as far as like how it was originally, I don't
So they
know.
visited every year.
Yeah, typically,
Okay.
we try to.
I'll say most of the insurance companies do
All right.
when you've got that type of a inventory stuff.
And the total package, which you said was $18,000.
Yep, 18,218 was the package, and then that accident policy,
Oh,
Unless there's two policies.
Yeah.
it was 4,353.
25,000 a
So
year.
23,000 a year.
25,000 a year. It's gonna be, and it'll be higher when we.
Yeah.
Nothing's going down, unfortunately.
Well, our bank
Is
account.
it paid up
Yeah.
to date right now?
It is, it's an annual payment.
Yeah, you had some issues with that, but it got all resolved.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay. You getting ready to say.
Yeah, that took a while.
So we'll have to, so we need to have all this done. How soon are you needing this inventory stuff?
The sooner the better. I can get you the quote, but I can tell you they will not issue the policy
So we own everything.
until everything is
Correct.
in your name. And is the official
So,
name Monroe City Area Fire Protection District?
Yes, ma'am.
Correct.
Okay.
Did
And
I
that's how
send you?
you're
I don't have
registered?
your cell, so I didn't send you
That's
a
okay.
picture of it, did I?
I'll give it
Okay.
to you if you want it.
All right.
Um,
I used to have it, but
573
okay,
541
okay.
5805
Okay.
is my
All right.
business one.
So are you giving,
That.
the PO box a mailing address?
Mhm.
All the stuff?
I gave that all to her.
Everything's going to the PO box.
But
Yep.
that FEIN number that you gave me, that
Mhm.
is how it's registered.
Mhm.
Like no association. Somebody else threw out a different name tonight or whatever. So
Oh, they did?
like Monroe City Fire Association, or I don't know.
Oh, no, it's
No.
that, the Monroe
Okay.
City Area Fire
Fire
Protection
Protection
District.
That's the
Okay.
only thing there is, right there.
Okay.
I mean,
So
we've had
there's no
several
Monroe
names.
City Fire Department
Nope.
or
Nope.
like
Nope.
Nope,
Monroe
that's it.
Rural or
Nope.
anything. You're all
Nope.
under.
We're all
that.
one.
Okay.
We're all one now.
Because that's where I was trying to get VFIS to, I'm like, it's the same people, same stuff, you have it under the city of Monroe, can we change the name? And they said no.
Okay.
So yeah, that's
So,
kind of where I'm at.
we're just basically waiting for the contract with the city and the Fire Protection District, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I can do the work comp sooner than the, vehicles and buildings and stuff being in your name,
Well, the
because, I mean,
vehicles are insured.
technically, if
The
you.
vehicles are insured right now, because the city's, they're
Right.
insured.
Right.
But do they have workman's comp now? No.
They don't.
So we
Not
need
if
to-
they're
we need to
technically
do
being
workman's
paid
comp.
under a different FEIN.
Oh, they're not.
Um,
I mean, as of October 1, they are. As of October 1, they're being paid under us.
Yeah, so you need work comp now.
Yeah, we need it now.
I can work on that. And we have, I know I looked, we've got the Palmyra Fire District and they're with MIM, so I'll probably just.
Missouri Employers Mutual.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I'll probably just go there knowing that they'll do first responders because it's just such a hard market for, nobody wants anything right now,
No.
let alone higher risks.
Wait for election. Yeah.
So I can get you a quote on that, based off of those numbers you gave me for payroll and.
So it would be good to vote on that next meeting, right? Monday night.
Will we have figures on work comp by Monday night?
I can push and try my hardest, yeah.
Okay.
Give it your best shot. We got a
Yeah.
meeting Monday night.
Okay.
Thursday.
And we also have one Tuesday.
Next
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
week
So
from
next
today.
Monday, next Tuesday.
I
Yeah.
just say Monday, then you don't need to know by Tuesday, you just need to know by Monday.
Jackie, you're gonna get a copy of all her numbers.
Mhm. I think I might have her email it to me, so that way I can email
Yeah.
it to you guys, and
Then
Yeah.
would that be great?
that would be, would
That'd
that
be
work,
great.
Carla?
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
That's
why
what I
I'm
said,
singing from the same sheet.
I know I sent you the
Right.
big, but it's like 250
It is like
pages.
200 and some
Yeah.
pages, and I'm like, I am
Yeah.
not printing that
That's
out.
yeah,
Okay.
I just kind of pulled this, so let me scan
Yep,
like
that part,
the-
yep.
each section's
That would be
parts and
fine.
then send that over to you, if that'll work.
Gentleman on the bond, she can do a bond. We need to determine what amount you want me bonded for. The way she talked, we need to do it for however much money I have in access to.
Well, the bonding is not that, it's not very expensive to do that.
It's not very expensive, no, but definitely
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
need it.
So how much do we want to go with? Because she'll need to get us a price on
So
that.
what do we have currently?
We have no bonding.
No, I mean, on our budget.
No, we don't have anything.
Would be under office
69,000.
probably, plus expense, so.
Just real quick.
Oh, you mean that, yeah,
So we going off of this figure?
I don't know. Do you want to do an average? I mean,
Or
we could probably go over off of 250, because if you
Keep in
figure we
mind
get
this-
I know it's floating all the time.
Keep in mind, this budget's just to the first of the year,
right,
and then we do a budget.
Right.
We're just kinda ad-libbing right now. That's,
We should probably go with the 250 right now.
I think. Okay. So
Can't
we'll
go
do,
with- Can't go with 5,000. We get.
so I guess figure a bond off 250.
250.
And who needs to be bonded? Me and any other check signers,
Mhm.
which is Tony and Mac.
the rest of the board that need to be bonded for,
They don't sign checks. They don't have authority to
Yes.
the money.
It's
I don't
more
wanna
for-
sign any more checks.
I know.
But we do
Oh,
need a
okay.
motion
I need
to
to-
agree to go to the 250 bonding for, to have her,
I'll make a motion.
All in favor?
okay,
So 3 bonds, 250.
yeah.
I think there's a way we can either do them individually, or I think you can do a
Keep it
blanket
tally.
bond too.
Okay,
And it would
blanket
cover.
bond.
Whatever's cheapest.
Yeah.
anything. Yeah, let me do some checking on that. Just real quick, so we're all on the same page. Number of paid full-time employees,
No, there are no full-time employees.
0,
number of paid part-time,
18.
18.
number of volunteers, here we go, so. 0, really, if
We're a
they're,
government
Yeah, 'cause
they're
entity, we
collecting
don't have a
anything.
tax
Yeah, we're
incentive.
collecting.
All right, is anybody publicly elected?
I do.
Just the board.
The board
Board
is
is,
public, okay.
So 5.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And Rich, you might check with, Missouri Firefighter Association. They may have, no, because they're with VFIS. Never mind.
Okay.
I thought maybe they might have a program, for liability if so something happens. I think it would be, they're big supporters of VFIS. So.
Where are you going to? Carquest?
And then total number estimated for,
What's he need?
fire and other non-medical runs. How many responses have you, how many responses
Oh,
annually?
gotcha. Gotcha.
Just for fire.
Yeah,
calls.
no problem.
You're looking at,
I'll write this down.
you're looking at
Base truck.
Probably 225 a year.
800,000.
Oh, yeah.
Base truck. Base truck.
You could just
And you don't
trigger $1 million
respond for
bucks
medical.
in the truck.
What nothing
We
on
are
it.
not first
Yeah.
responders, but we have
Mutual.
been mutual
So,
aid
those things should've been
to
up there.
help the ambulance.
Okay, does this mean anything to you? Because I don't even know what these things are. Highest level of service,
You're welcome.
non-medical EMS assist, BLS or ALS.
So this is basic life support, that's
Yeah.
advanced life support.
Okay, thank you.
And none
Like
of
they,
us are
they
there.
use like all these.
So they would be
okay,
non-medical.
Non-medical, okay,
Nope.
thank you.
See you guys.
Bye, Robert, thank you.
And then, primary contacts, is that Jackie?
Yep.
Okay.
Well, that was quick.
Put me on there, I don't care. I'll just call you.
I need an inspection contact. You,
Yeah,
inspection,
Yeah.
like if somebody needs to come look? ENOCH,
Yes.
yes, thank you. And I've got your all's phone numbers and emails. There's something else that. How long has that building been out there on DD? I looked on Google Earth and it is nothing, it's a field. Like I was just trying to figure out,
Do you look at the right place?
I typed in the address, I mean, it looked like just a blacktop with no access to even go
Been
off
out
of it.
there, should be on there. Shit, I remember 2008.
8,
I was
Yeah.
gonna say,
8 or 7.
7 or 8,
yeah, something like that.
7 or 8.
Do you conduct any fundraising or social activities as a
Yes.
fire department?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
What do you do?
So we're having a soup and sandwich supper. We try to have a firehouse open house during fire week, fire prevention week, open to the public. We're in parades. What else do we do, guys? We go to the school,
Big truck night.
big truck night,
There's always somewhere.
Halloween walk.
She's going.
Can't do it this year unless you give me some tickets. They sold out in a week.
Yeah,
Was it a week?
Yeah,
I thought
it
it
was
was
a
like a
week.
day or two.
it was
went
quick.
What is
Fast.
bullshit?
Are you renting any halls for any of this stuff?
No,
Okay.
no.
No.
Do you host bingo?
No, we do not host
Okay.
bingo.
Nah,
Um,
not yet.
do you sponsor fireworks?
Yes.
Yes. Do we sponsor them or we set them off?
No.
Yeah.
We don't sponsor them. We
Don't sponsor them.
You set
We
them
set 'em
off?
off.
We set them off.
Okay.
There's a fine line there.
It just comes
That
out.
just makes
geez,
things
we
a lot
don't know
higher.
where it come from.
Well, we don't buy them.
We don't
The
buy
city
them.
buys them.
The city buys them, so.
But you are actually lighting and setting
Yeah.
them off, okay.
Yes,
Number of days, is it like 4th of July?
Yes, one
One
day.
day.
just one
Okay.
day.
Fireworks are detonated by qualified outside contractor or applicant, so applicant,
Qualified
Applicant.
personnel.
I mean,
Oh,
our
man.
people are certified and trained.
yeah, okay. Alright, carnivals,
No.
No.
Good Lord, no.
alright. Do you have any boats greater than 100 horsepower?
Nope.
Do you have any liquor exposure? You're not
No.
having any liquor at any of those events,
Nope.
correct?
No.
That's in Illinois fire stations.
Do you have
Serious.
hazmat exposure?
What do you mean?
Do you
If they're on a scene,
On the scene, yeah?
do you,
We do hazmat awareness and then we have a hazmat team 20 miles away.
Is
That's
but
all.
is it us? Do we,
Is it
are
you?
we, is it us? Are we
are
exposed
not.
to?
All we do is
do you have a
recognize it.
specifically organized hazard materials response team as part of your organization?
No,
No.
no,
No.
No,
No.
Hannibal Page.
that would be Hannibal.
They train, but they're not qualified.
Do you have above ground storage tank exposures?
No.
Do you have pollution class B firefighting foam exposure?
Repeat that?
Do we have Class B foam exposure?
No.
Okay. You have junior firefighters
No.
and you desire employer's liability work comp. Okay. Do your checks require 2 signatures?
Yes,
Yes.
In any amount or in excess of an amount?
in any amount.
Okay. Do purchases require the signed approval of 2 or more people?
Mm.
What was it?
Do purchases require the sign?
It does. It goes in your minutes. You approve in
Yeah.
first
Yeah,
and
because-
second and all that. Yeah. Okay. Are bank accounts, credit card statements, and vendor payments reconciled at least monthly?
Yes,
Yes.
and provided to the board.
Are bank accounts and credit card statements reconciled by someone not authorized to deposit, withdraw, or use the card?
Well, they're approved by the board when I present them to them, and they get a copy of the statement along with the check stub that shows the actual balance of where we're at, and a printout that
She-
also reconciles it all.
She provides them and we approve them,
Okay.
or not, you know.
Right.
Not, we send her a bill.
There's a substation.
You found that on Google Earth?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I just found it.
Yep.
Yeah, the address is.
Yeah.
12397 Highway.
That's what and I went up and down that whole blacktop.
You was just in the field.
Yeah, I was, or something. I'm like, this is the middle of nowhere with
Yeah.
nothing.
You thought it was somebody's house, probably.
There was nothing, it was just like a field and
Just like-
You didn't go
blacktop.
far enough down, probably.
Are you aware of or have any knowledge of dishonest or criminal acts of any prior members, like
No.
anybody with money?
Convicted? No.
Um,
Never convicted.
Are financial records audited by outside parties?
I'm sorry,
What's that?
Are your financial records audited by outside parties?
we've only been doing
We-
this for a
It will
year.
be, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah,
Do you plan to do that?
We
like,
plan to do
annually?
that?
Yeah.
Okay.
okay.
I think it's a smart move, don't you?
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah.
Um,
We have to do that anyway, because we're a political subdivision.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let me double check, cause it's got employee dishonesty, position schedule bond, and then name schedule bond. So I'm wondering if we can put like treasurer, like,
Right, instead of attaching names,
instead
just
of attaching
position.
names, and then if anybody changes, you don't
Changes.
have to redo the bond into somebody
Yeah.
else's name.
Right.
But wouldn't you want to redo the bond anyway? Because do the bonds have to cover that person's individual credit score and stuff too, or?
Well, like, if
So, like,
if it's more of a title bond,
Uh-huh,
then it's just gonna cover whoever's in that position. That's what I
okay.
said, it might be a little easier.
So like I had to personally apply
Yeah.
for a bond. Is this
Yeah, and
different?
It might be, that's what I'm
Okay,
gonna ask,
okay.
because it's got 2 different
Okay,
kinds. So
gotcha.
I wanna see
Okay,
if they'll do it that way, if they'll do it as
a
title.
position, right,
Yeah.
instead of an, okay.
Mhm.
But see, that was for our USDA loan.
Yeah.
So that was probably a little different.
Most of the time, they are in individuals' names, and you do have to apply
Right.
and be
That's how mine
approved.
was for my
Mhm.
business. I had to.
Yeah.
Give them my shoe
Alright.
size and
Yeah.
Tell me
all
about
kinds
it.
of stuff.
I draw the line and I don't know where, and I'll go there.
It's 'cause you never have it done.
Oh my gosh.
A lot of times, I did.
We had 7,000 on that drone, I think is what the value you gave us last year. Okay.
How big's that drone?
Uh,
How big's that drone?
Yeah. how
I'll
big
show you afterwards.
What type of drone is it?
It's thermal imaging DJI.
Oh, okay.
Mavic, yeah.
How many
Ooh.
personnel are authorized to operate it?
There is only like, what, 3, 4 of us? There's not many.
Okay.
Not everybody can do
Did
it.
you go to school?
How many hours of
I have
training are
license,
required?
yeah.
I just wondered, I mean.
How many hours of training are required prior to being authorized to operate the drone?
Lots.
So from your department
I mean,
standpoint,
it's,
how many do you make the guys have before they can operate it?
they've gotta go through, they're gonna have to have some hours on it. You know what I mean? They've gotta be able to handle it in the
Yeah.
field
Mhm.
besides handle it here.
Yeah.
We play with it here too. The guys that are,
Is it like 10?
10 hours.
10
20
hours, 20 hours.
100 hours?
I'd say 100 hours.
What's that?
I'd say 100 hours.
Before you're allowed to use it?
yeah,
I mean, there's a lot to it. I
There
mean,
is a lot to it.
going
So the other
infrared
thing is,
to
if you say
regular.
100 hours, are they gonna have to have documentation if anybody were able to check up on that to
It
make
just
sure they're?
says, do you have a written policy and procedure addressing storage and accessibility to the drone by qualified operators? So do you have something that says
We will get it wrote
you're
up.
not allowed?
We will have
Okay.
an SOG wrote up.
Yeah, but that's not in the SOG.
And then do
It's
you
new.
Yeah.
loan, rent, or lease it to others?
No. I'd
No.
We don't, do we?
say-
Okay.
What's that?
I'd say
We don't loan it
rent,
out,
or
do we,
lease that
Rich?
drone to
Yeah.
anybody.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
they need it.
Not that we wouldn't go to another department and,
If
We'll
they
send it-
need
Run it
from
for
us,
them.
We'll have
Right.
to operate it.
All right, and then for management liability, just a couple more, I think. Do you have a human resource administrator? You don't really have employees, so.
I guess that might be me if we have to have one. but-
I'll be HR.
Oh,
There you
yeah.
go.
Okay,
that
guys.
ought to be interesting.
I mean, I guess if somebody just walks in the door and says, hey, I'm new to town, I want to be a firefighter, who do they go to?
They're gonna go to Rich.
They're gonna go to me.
So, does the organization have written policies and procedures covering the following areas? Hiring and applying for membership,
Yes,
dismissal,
it's all SOGs, yes,
discrimination, harassment,
yes,
discipline,
Yep.
promotion,
yeah.
new employee volunteer orientation,
Mhm.
and performance evaluations.
Yes.
Okay. And then, question form below must be answered for any emergency service operation, 50 or more full-time employees. Nope. I think that is enough to get me a quote. What's today, the
8.
8th?
Eight.
Thank you. I wrote the date wrong. Sorry. 10/8/24. Who's authorized to sign?
Matt,
Everybody points at him.
sign there.
Now, obviously, I'm not gonna do that until I get the values and stuff, but
Right.
just so I don't have to,
But you are gonna do the work comp and.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, I'll try to get that to you and the bonding information by Monday.
perfect.
I think I can quote them online even, so I should be able to get that.
She's just back her.
All right, any other questions for me?
Not yet.
Not yet.
All right, I will work on this and,
Sounds like it's all hinged on inventories and
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Right.
And ownership.
yes, and ownership.
Yeah.
Okay.
That if you can, sooner the better, so I can get the,
What's that, what was the
Yeah.
question?
When do we want the inventory by?
Everything inventory.
Yeah, and that made.
But when?
We'll do it at the
Oh,
next fire
when?
meeting,
Which
That's
is
fine.
when?
not this coming
The next
Monday,
2 weeks
but
from
Monday.
yesterday?
Yeah.
Okay.
alrighty, well, I appreciate your all's time
Well,
and
thank you very much for
thanks for
coming up.
having me.
Thank you.
It's a lot
Thank you very
easier when
much.
people meet with us and go through this stuff, so,
Right.
I know, insurance is not fun.
All right. Well, we appreciate your
Thanks so
time.
much, Carla, I
Thank
appreciate
you
it.
very
You're
much,
welcome.
ma'am. You know, when you do that, when you guys do the inventory, you kind of might put a check on stuff that you want to get rid of or something, you know? Something.
I mean,
stuff
you might
wanna
put
keep
the,
and-
yeah, the condition of it,
Yeah,
you
keep,
know?
keep, no keep, stuff like that, okay? All right. I think that.
Alrighty, thank you so much.
Thank you. That. We got a spot here for other, we got anything else we need?
Budget.
Budget.
Yeah,
Budget,
the
budget, okay,
budget.
you wanna go ahead and do that?
Yes,
Well, I tell you what, this budget, budget. Jackie is gonna hate this.
no, you're not.
There you are.
Okay, that's fine.
I would love if you guys read down through this budget stuff, do you understand what everything is? Or do you need her to go through, line item stuff and, you know, of course, the payroll's self-explanatory tax,
Yeah.
contact payments, stuff like, do you want her to explain each one of those?
I mean, I can, it doesn't.
Which one are we looking at?
We're looking at this
This
first
page
one
right
that says the amendments presented as of, well, yesterday, but today, since we're looking at them now.
Looking at the amended one?
So the first column that says budget 23-24, that was our budget. That was when we had our budget. So these other new things are items that Rich gave me numbers for off the city's budget. They were for a year, and so I split them to 25% because we've only got 3 months left.
Yes.
Those are the figures that I put in here. So payroll is obviously, and so this middle column will cover us from October 1st through December 31st. So those are the new budget amounts. Let's see. So as you know, our income that we budgeted reduced because of the money that we're not getting from the city.
Right.
You go down to payroll. That's an added thing from the city because they took care of that as well as the payroll tax. The contract payments, that's my stuff. Clothing allowance and dispatching fees. I don't have any information on those yet as far as
And she will be here.
next Tuesday.
Yes.
Yes. So
We'll go
dispatch.
both.
Who's she? What?
The Sadie, she's a dispatch.
Oh, okay.
Head dispatcher.
Okay.
I think we were getting hit about $2,500 a month on dispatching fees. So do you want me to put into that amount, 70, what is it? 75? $7,500 into dispatching fees?
No,
No?
No.
Just leave it at zero?
I'll leave it at
I
zero.
wanna
Okay.
know, I'm kinda like you,
Why
why are we paying for it?
for one and not the others?
Yeah.
The office expense, we had $2,000 set up. We added another 300 based off what Rich had.
Have you talked to, Utterback, to see if there was anything that he needed in there?
Yeah,
Did he still,
he's good.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The fuel, apparently we're still working on fuel man at this point, I guess.
I talked to the city and they said we'd be better off going with somebody else because they said fuelman is just really expensive.
Right, and we know that,
Yeah.
and we've got that,
Yeah.
I've got those numbers in here in this
Right
packet.
now, right
But-
now, we're still using their cards.
Right, okay, so,
Right.
we haven't got anything approved on that yet, so, we've got a $1,500 in our budget for that. Supplies and maintenance, we had a budget of 4, I added 625, so that pops that up. Vehicle yes?
Supplies and maintenance is what?
Supplies and maintenance is gonna be like your toilet paper and those types of things, your consumables that you use,
Okay.
your paper, well, paper will be in office supplies, but your oils, just different stuff like that, I guess. Vehicle maintenance would be anything that you're using towards your vehicles. Where it's tires could go under there unless that's gonna be a larger item, and if we know we have something that we're going to want to purchase, like you need 4 new tires for something, we need to know that and we can put that in the budget plan,
Right.
So eventually, what I'd like to see is kind of like the old PO books that we had.
Mhm.
When you go down through this line item stuff that it says, building maintenance, 00655, and then when he issues a PO for it, and it gets subtracted. That way he can keep track of what he's got and what he doesn't have. So can
Yep.
we.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, so we'll, once we can move into that, we'll
Okay,
get there.
we'll
It
do
just
that.
won't be,
For a while.
right. Vehicle maintenance, okay, we covered that. Equipment maintenance is anything on your generators and things like that. That's your equipment that needs
Right.
work done to it. Building and grounds maintenance, that's your mowing, your snow removal, things like that. Rock for the driveway or something like that.
Speaking of that, is the city still gonna come hit this, or
I'm
are we
gonna,
gonna have to?
we need to see, we probably need to
Are
do
we
that
gonna-
with our updates and see if we want Lee to do that.
Can we get what?
Snow
Are they
removal here.
gonna move our snow out like they always did?
Oh,
Or?
yeah.
Right here.
Well, if they don't, then we'll
I
ask them.
always do it in the front because I'm right down there.
Yeah.
They'll take care of it, I'm sure of that.
Mm.
If they don't, then we'll ask them why they do the ambulance.
Prevention and investigation, they had $125 for that. What, do you guys use that? Is that something, so is that an account, we really don't need? I mean, what would it be used for?
What is it now?
Prevention and investigation,
Fire prevention.
okay. So is that where you're,
Fire prevention and investigation.
Prevention of fire, you know what I mean,
so that would be like your stuff for the open house
That'd be
and things
stuff for
like
your,
that?
the open house and all that.
So we need to
Yeah.
really get more
So
money in that one,
That's
okay.
usually $2,500
Yeah.
That would also
a year.
fall, that also fall underneath public relations?
But we don't really have to worry about it right now.
Yeah, cause it's over.
It's all
Um,
over.
Yeah, all that's
So what do you want?
Could,
Yeah.
But fire prevention could also be if you're getting fire alarms or something for
Yeah.
older
Or
people
you're
or something,
doing-
something
or
like
you're doing
that.
batteries for like senior housing, or
Right.
whatever, like we used to do.
Okay.
Okay, recruitment and
Number in there?
Recruitment.
we've got
retention.
$125 in it,
He just mentioned 2,500, did he?
You know, that's per year.
but this is just for
This is just for the
next 3 months,
Okay.
and fire week is this week,
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
that
we're
right?
doing it
So
right now.
it doesn't, yeah,
Uh-huh.
it's not gonna pertain
Yeah.
to us
Yeah.
at this point. Recruitment and retention, what do you use with that for?
We bought, there was a time when we bought, like banners and stuff like that for hired firefighters now or whatever it was, and we had put it out substation, hung it up out there.
Okay.
The wind tore the crap out of it. Just didn't work.
Okay, and recruitment could be something like this meal that we're gonna be having
Yes,
out there,
Right.
so,
yes.
that's what those things would be. Emergency preparedness. What would you use that account for?
Emergency preparedness would be for any kind of whatever, you know, whether you're getting bottled water, you never know what you're going to have it for. If you have an ice storm coming in, whatever, you gotta be able to take care of the
Extra
people.
batteries, extra
Extra
flashlights,
yes,
things like that, okay.
anything that, yeah,
Supplies for pending emergencies,
Yes.
okay. Public relations. Is this where your
Population,
fire stuff came out of?
it would either come out of public safety or the public
Prevention
safety
and
or-
investigation,
or- yeah, or it would come out of
Okay.
public safety, the other one.
okay.
Yeah.
Our phone expense. We are going to, okay, on this phone expense, do you guys use landlines here?
We really don't. We usually use cell phones,
There needs to be a landline here.
Okay.
but if, yeah,
Somebody
if
did.
all.
We just
all-
can't seem to find out who's providing it.
Somebody, if you need to call the fire station, if you
Spectrum.
dial City Hall right
I
now
can't get there.
and ask about the
They're
fire
not
department,
getting
I think it
anything from
transfers
them.
down here.
Oh, they're like
Or it can
AT&T, huh?
transfer to.
It can transfer. Well, it's just like the tornado. I
Been
mean,
fighting with them.
when we dropped in all them lines if we need them.
We
They
do.
don't even use it.
Oh.
But see,
Okay.
we used to have.
Okay,
the
so we're
gonna keep
original
it.
through on the fax machine, but
Utilities, I've estimated at $5,000.
Is that here or in there?
That should be for both of them. It will be for
Okay.
both of them, yes. Unless you want me to create separate line items for anything that we have for the substation. Do you want separate line items for the substation?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so we're gonna
That
need,
way we can find out, that way we'll know what it costs to operate the substation.
okay, so I will create separate line items for the substation. Those items will
We're gonna
be,
get that some bitch.
the items that I had originally budgeted. Okay, so those items I had originally budgeted, and then Rich's items I'm gonna add to that. Those will be the regular ones for this department here, or this facility here. Insurance,
Donut.
we paid $109. You know, that was for, I gotta figure out what that was for, from Old Republic.
yeah.
So I've got a balance in here of
That's a
$225.
bond.
Work comp and unemployment, assessments and memberships. Assessments and memberships should have been your FFAM, things like that.
Yep.
So,
And that'll come out, like
It's an
December,
annual thing.
January, right in that area.
okay, all right. So do we need to put some money in there for $300? Or did you pay it for this year?
I've already paid for this year, but you're gonna need about $300
For next,
for next year.
next
'cause
year,
It cost
okay.
me like $230.
are there any other things that we have membership, we can deal with, never mind.
Yeah,
We're just
no,
getting
you
through
just
3
go
months
on,
here.
yeah.
Professional services, I took Carl's and, based that off that.
So no,
We did not have any money in our original budget that I had, because we didn't have an attorney at that point. The election expenses, that's also an item that I added. We do have those, I haven't got all of them in yet still. Travel and training, we had 10 on that for the training. So that's our amendment. So I guess what I need from you guys is a motion to approve the amendments with the addition of creating separate line items for
For the
what belongs to the substation.
So what's the capital,
CapEx was 50,000.
what's that for?
I think I just put 50,000 in there so we'd have something in case he needed something that was a CapEx item.
Okay.
Because we didn't really have
There's
anything
nothing,
There
there's
wasn't
nothing,
anything.
That wasn't-
Okay.
nothing
Dedicated to it.
specific, okay.
Nothing is there yet.
All right.
So separate items with the substation. So I just need a motion to approve that if you guys are good with that.
So where these zeros are, where there's workman's comp and all that,
There is nothing budgeted on the city side for it. And I took that off the budget numbers from the city stuff.
okay.
So when we find out what it'll be in our budget.
It'll be in our
Correct.
budget.
Well, these are
Okay.
work comp claims. So if we haven't had any claims for 5 years, it's probably not gonna show up, it's gonna show up as a zero.
Right.
You know,
right.
and
No, I
same with
understand.
unemployment claims. I
Okay.
mean,
You want a
So that's why.
Motion to approve this budget?
Yeah.
based on the change of adding a separate line item for substation,
Right.
yes.
I make that motion.
Second it. All in favor?
Tony absent.
I got, well, I guess I would, damn, we already closed it, but,
What you got?
for like fire prevention week, like how much is like the material?
Usually it's.
roughly?
We usually
take
spend
about-
2
we
to
usually-
3,000.
Yeah, it was $2,500 that we would budget for
Mm-hmm.
fire prevention,
Mhm.
and then we would go in there and we would get all of our cups, our
Yeah.
whatever.
Your
Yeah.
pins,
the
yes,
hats
all of
and
that.
everything like that,
Stickers and-
for
okay.
that.
And then they would have food down here and they'd have,
Okay.
you
Which
know.
that will be on our next
Next
year's.
year's,
Mhm.
okay, yeah,
We'll
yeah,
get
Once
yeah.
we
you
do
your
that in
little pink
January.
fire.
Yeah.
Cause you haven't had an open house down here for.
Nope.
My kids need one more damn plastic fire.
I know.
I
We will
still
get
have
you
one.
a-
They need one more
Yeah.
to fill up the 20.
So on the
that we
last
have.
page,
Yeah,
this
I
shows
understand.
you the impact with those changes as to how, where that affects our budget. And this bottom number here equals our bank account, so, that way we're all in line in there.
I'm good.
Well,
So that's the revised budget with our actual expenditures so far, so.
Good.
That 13,222 is an actual expenditure, that's on that boots and that gear and stuff that we got.
Okay.
So,
that was already budgeted.
correct, yeah,
Right.
that was included in that 50,000, so.
Okay.
So, we've approved, okay, so we are good then,
Yeah,
we
we're
approved
very
the
good.
budget.
So, that's it, folks. I'd like to make a motion.
So when does your people gonna be done with all this?
Inventory.
We're gonna work on that on the next fire meeting night. When I got all the guys here, we'll split them up. We'll have some doing the trucks, some doing the buildings, some doing the upstairs.
Do they have a form or anything to fill out while they're doing this, so they know exactly what to look for?
I say just create a new one, Excel sheet or something. That
I
way
said,
we're
what do
not
you
missing
have?
stuff.
Make,
If you have something that you currently use, I don't
Make-
mind creating
I think they
something
do.
and,
Cam had something already started on all the trucks.
yeah, okay, sorry.
I say just,
We'll go
But
over
just-
and we'll just add new.
just make sure when you do
Tally
the
marks.
inventory, keep whatever's on the truck, on that truck, you know.
Right,
Rest we
right.
want
Yeah.
to,
Right.
how many feet of hose, everything,
I guess that we-
everything
that
to
we're-
learn.
Yeah, we'll do
Yeah.
that too.
So they're gonna inventory on each
I'm
truck.
just thinking about future meetings.
And like Gary said, if
All
we have
buildings.
something that we're wanting to get rid of, we wanna make sure to put that, mark on that.
Time frame
Highlight.
For what?
Uh-huh.
for,
To get rid of. For next
ASAP.
2 weeks is when they'll do it,
okay.
2 weeks,
Will it all be done in one night?
Oh, it'll be,
probably not.
we'll,
Depends on how many people we have here.
I was gonna say, we're gonna work on it.
When's our next meeting?
We'll put a good deal.
Next
Next Monday
Monday.
and Tuesday?
Okay, so it's not we done.
Yeah, no, it won't be done.
Monday,
I mean, I'm,
Monday and Tuesday.
if you get a lot of people in there, you're only gonna have one person rating,
yeah.
Yeah.
and you got 15 people telling you what you got.
Well, put a couple on each
Well,
truck.
we'll put a couple on.
in here, put a
Yeah.
couple in
Okay.
there.
Yeah, we'll split 'em up.
Yeah, if they're in pairs, if they work in pairs, that would
Yeah.
be,
Yeah.
send 2 out to
And I
Rensselaer
guess
and,
on the other that I would have before we close the meeting is, we need to be figuring out what we're gonna do with the stuff over there. Okay,
Yeah, that's
okay,
what stuff where?
in that other
the stuff
building.
in,
Oh, okay,
in
sorry.
that other bay over there.
When you inventory, you'll see what you got. and
We gotta figure out where we're gonna put that brush truck.
Could it,
cause it can't stay outside.
Could it go to the substation?
It can, once brush season's over, but we don't know when that's gonna be.
Oh,
'cause
so
it's-
you'll still need it
Oh,
for
yeah.
brush season.
Well, you got one person out there in that brush area, or she's lived out that direction.
Likely,
It just means you would respond there to the truck.
just means you get to bring brush truck.
We got where command was also. We got that open today.
We have, yeah,
I
but will
don't,
the
I
trailer
was
sit
just,
there?
I was
though?
just thinking.
you all figure that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about tanker?
Do we have a
Could
deadline on when that
the old
stuff has to
tanker
be out from over there?
could go out there.
Whenever, it's not our
And then you
building
would
yet.
have-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, then you'd have room.
I'd say within the
She ain't gonna take it.
I'd say by the end of October 31st. I mean, I'd hope,
That's
if
what I
not
mean.
before.
So
Right.
when we do inventory, we'll
And
probably.
you're gonna bring the new tanker if you want.
Yeah.
I would.
And
That
it-
way, or-
You know,
Spit it.
I would say that, you know, if you come across stuff that you wanna sell, you wanna get rid of, then put it aside, or maybe go ahead and, now you don't wanna take it to the substation, cause we're gonna be out there.
26.
Then we'll have to haul it back.
Yeah,
Well.
well,
What we're gonna sell and we can.
we'll talk about that, and we'll figure out what we're gonna do with it, so. You figure out what you wanna do with it, but.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, we won't be able to move anything until we have our thing out there. And
Yeah.
then once we get that, then we'll be able to
Move stuff out,
knock all that out.
okay. Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like it.
All right, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you, folks, very much.
Thank you.
Right?
Okay.
You know how long I've been waiting to say that line when
What'd you say?
I said when she asked about like anybody's been like convicted or anything like that. I've been waiting ever since I heard it off the Stripes, that movie. I've been waiting my whole life to say that. Convicted?
Wow.
Convicted? No, never.
Doesn't take